What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Burke, aka Dansgwait here, and welcome to another Final Fantasy X Friday with the Karifean Masters mod. Now, for this one I had to do a bit of a special intro because the whole Dark Anima section that you're going to see is going to play out across 2 episodes. The reason for this is because the first episode, I'm going to call this one like preview, even though it's going to be a really long episode, about an hour and a half. Basically, the first fight that I had against Dark Anima, turns out that there was a bit of an issue with the mod, and Dark Anima did not function exactly as she should, and as a result she was held back and it was a bit easier and not the full experience that it should have been. Now initially I was thinking maybe I just edit this out and I don't show you guys anything at all, but then when I saw it in editing I was like, this was just really fun, me meeting Dark Anima in this mod for the first time, seeing what the mechanic is, my reactions to it, my early ideas and my strategies, and how I beat even this version of Dark Anima. I feel like it's worth keeping in and I still think it will be entertaining. But just as a disclaimer, this first Dark Anima fight that you're going to see is not going to be the actual one that you face if the mod is functioning correctly. What we're going to do next week is, a few months later I went back to fight Dark Anima with all of the bells and whistles that should have been in the fight, and you'll get to see both versions in the playlist. So we're going to kick things off with my first meeting and the first time I beat Dark Anima in this mod. Then I will end the video after the fight finishes, and then next week I will restart again from Dark Anima, but this would have been recorded a few months later, and we'll have a proper look at how Dark Anima should have been and how I beat it the second time round. So I hope you guys enjoy this week's episode. There'll be plenty of Dark Anima content for you to enjoy. Let's get going with the episode. Okay, my friends, welcome back to this playthrough of the Final Fantasy X Masters mod by Karifean. It's a new session, and it's a session in which we are getting ever closer to actually completely finishing this mod. We only have 3 boss battles standing between us and true completion, and that is Dark Anima, the Dark Magus Sisters, of which still at this stage I don't know if there's an option to fight them one-on-one. Is he going to make us kind of fight them one-on-one and then all 3 together afterwards, like another gauntlet? That side I don't know, but as a collective I'm just going to class them as like a boss battle. And then of course we have penance. So in today's session I'm going to make an effort to see if I can get past Dark Anima, and so to begin that we need to redo the Gagazet trial, and so that's what I'm going to quickly head into here. Of course we have, I guess one thing I should do, I don't know if he's kind of, if you fail this one, he's kind of, because it's obviously pre-Dark Anima, has he created something like really dangerous if you screw up? It's definitely possible, so I need to be very careful here. I'd love to just get this one first time. Status mirror. Sealed away here is an experiment that forces the enemy party statuses to be an exact reflection of its own statuses. I'm not even sure what that means. Enemy party statuses. That part is, I understand, to be an exact reflection of its own statuses. So, okay, whatever. We're just going to hit this first time anyway and not encounter anything, so surely it should be fine. Or is this a setup for Dark Anima, basically? Because it said enemy parties, and I don't consider Anima, it's like a single enemy. So I thought it's referring to like if you manage to, like if you have to end up in an encounter here. So we're just going to try and hit it first time. There's one side that obviously doesn't work, like this one is blocked, and I have to try and time it on this one. But the timing's like, it's moving very slow now. Oh. Okay. But I have a feeling that it probably affects the Dark Anima fight, and not that one? I don't know. I don't know if it's just kind of a little Easter. I don't even remember if this status mirror thing was there the first time. Honestly, it's been a long time since I recorded that. I have no idea. Whatever. Let's just get back to Dark Anima and see if anything's particularly different. It's going to be different either way, but like the status mirror stuff, I don't know if it was talking about Dark Anima or if you missed the shot. I think it's been like 4 months or something since I last did that trial. Okay, So. Whoops, why did I do that? Ugh. I guess, hold on. Maybe that was a bit of a blessing in disguise, because I'm thinking this might be a fight where I need some remedies. I'm remembering Mega Graviton, and the problems that it can cause you. I'm wondering if I need some more remedies? Maybe some more Phoenix Downs? Remedy. They're just very expensive. Just gonna buy 3 more, nothing too crazy. Albed Potion, ugh. Screw it. Yeah, we're just really not getting a ton of money from what's being dropped. Grenade, we've got 14. We'll take that. So I'm going to create a new save, obviously, for this anyway. And then we're going to start to prepare for our first fight. I think for this one especially, I'm literally just going to go in and scan and not do any preparation here. I need to see like what statuses I'm being hit with for Mega Graviton and that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure it's still going to use either literally Mega Graviton or some variation of it. It might have a different name, but it's probably still like a gravity-based thing that does statuses, etc. So we need to check this out. So at this stage, I still haven't committed to whatever that ultimate armor is, but again, this time, this may be the fight where it really could be necessary, so we'll put a ribbon, for example, on Riku to protect her from the statuses and that kind of thing. So let's just go in for our first attempt and start to find out what we're dealing with here. Yes! Yes! The theme! Perfect. Perfect, perfect. GG, it's already a great fight. This is kind of how it should have been. This feels very right. It's such a simple change and such an obvious change, but it's a great change. I love it. So, let's get going. I'm literally, again, getting the notepad out here. I made myself literally a chart at this stage where I've got like status effects and debuffs on one side, and I've got like a tick chart where I'm kind of adding what they're susceptible to. I think it will stand me in good stead for the final few battles here. I probably should have done it earlier, but let's go in and literally... I'll try and take the fight somewhat seriously. Let's at least get the haste bit in there. Anima looks very slow once again. Same deal as Bahamut, where I was kind of like, that's weird. Like, we're getting so many turns here. It's probably counterattacks, or it can use 2 moves or 3 moves or whatever the hell. Woohoo! Wow. That's super cool. That's super cool. Okay. So I think the status mirror thing does affect what's going on in this fight. I think it just means that whatever statuses kind of Anima has, you're kind of locked into having those two. Like, you can't place extra buffs, I believe. I think the scan text will reveal more. So let's have a look at it. So the fact that we have the Seymour battle theme here, and plus already a very quirky looking mechanic, this is shaping up to be particularly interesting. And you guys know me, I love a good fight against Dark Anima. Now, Karifean, I'd love to make one suggestion here for the future. One thing that always bugged me about this fight is the placement of the overdrive bar. The way they literally blocks like the top of Anima's face / eye. I've never liked that personally. Is there any way to move that overdrive bar down to like just like the bottom, like where Anima's body meets the ground or something, like above this menu and between there? Because I don't think it blocks the characters, or maybe it does, but the camera angle doesn't really change in this one, so that's something I'd personally like to see just as an aesthetic thing. I always found the placement a bit annoying here, like literally straight across the eye line, and obviously Dark Anima's eye is kind of a bit of a special aspect of this design, so I don't know. Just a suggestion, I don't know if it's possible or not. Here we go. Oh my god. 2.56 million. This is a huge jump up. This is 3 times higher than anything we've faced so far. So yeah, the status mirror was a nod to Dark Anima and not a potential like very difficult encounter he'd make you do if you fail the hit. So, Dark Anima, first thing I noticed is that it takes 1.5x from all of the elements, which is quite interesting. So it might be a nice way to do like high power damage to it. So it's important to note. And whatever statuses she has, your party has exactly the same ones. Use them with caution and to your advantage. So that's very interesting. Now, he said use them with caution. But, for example, I tried to cast haste on myself, but Dark Anima did not end up getting haste as a result. So that's kind of strange. So we need to cast them on Anima. So I think maybe we're immune from casting them onto ourselves, but we have to cast them onto Anima to make it work. So fascinating stuff, and even more fascinating yet is that basically it's not immune to anything. You can do whatever you like as long as you can deal with the consequences yourself. That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I'm going to have a fun time with this one. I feel like this could make the fight relatively easy or feel almost impossible. Like, depending on what your setup is and which ones you go for and try and which exploits you can find, that could be incredibly interesting. Wow. I think this also means that when I heal a status of my own, it also heals Anima status. And this is before we even begin to see what the attacks are like. So, fascinating. So, we also have Waltiger, then Thundaga. Wow, this fight could be interesting indeed. I'm already like invested and engaged. Dark Anima is always a special fight. And this one is shaping up to potentially be much the same. Now, this means, of course, I think, does this mean that auto abilities count against you here? Or is it a bit of a, like, if you don't cast it, then Anima doesn't have it either? So I think let's just find out. I think a quick way to find out is to add a few autos here. This is a pure, like, test run. We're not going to actually try and do anything too sexy here. Let's just get this on. These are just pure tests. So I'm just literally going to go in again. Go. I mean, for example, is Sentinel treated kind of like a status? If Auron goes into Sentinel, does that mean that Anima also does the same? Yeah, so it means your auto abilities don't work here. So for example, Riku has auto haste. Oh wait, I didn't equip it probably, right? I'm getting a bit too excited here, like this mechanic's too interesting. So those miss. Then Anima takes a turn. It's a physical attack. Wait, what happened there? How did Auron manage to dodge that? He doesn't have evade encounter. So physical attack afflicts poison. And of course that means that Anima herself also has poison. This is really weird. So, let's switch to this. Find out what happens here. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scan Anima again. And anyone who comes in automatically has that status. So even though obviously these guys didn't get hit by it, they're carrying the status now. Oh man, this is such a unique take. This is special. Status mirror is active. Okay. So the trial was just a warning for what to expect next. I can't see what status it has right now, like on it. Poison scan, poison scan. Yeah, so but also it means that my auto abilities have not triggered here. See, in that sense, that's kind of cool because this whole like ultimate armor that I had built for my first attempt against Dark Yojimbo, in this fight, in that sense, it would have been fairly ineffective. So this means, for example, if I heal, we get healed too. Okay. Holy. Wait. The reflect worked there, but the haste didn't. Yeah, it's a bit... So it doesn't say that I have reflect. What's happening here? Again, I think cheer and focus is probably going to help, but then again, I think all of it is just going to... All of them are going to mirror. It's kind of a question of what is a status and what isn't a status. So it feels like anything considered obviously a status or a buff or debuff, like cheer in this case would count as a status, I assume. For example, if I was to use something like a delay attack, would that mean that everyone has a... like everyone gets delayed? Let's see what kind of damage we're dealing with here. Is she immune to Demi? Let's find out. Oh my god, wow. Demi works. Good to know. So we're going to have to rely a little bit more on Riku's like raw speed here. I want to see the Mega Graviton-esque move here. See what it can do. Physical attack. So we're going to try and keep ourselves alive here, just to stay on it. Now, I think using singular breaks is probably a good idea. So like power break, for example. Let's do that. Because that physical attack is brutal. Two of them evaded. And Waka evading countered, which was pretty good as well. Power break. I think because her evasion is so good, maybe I should keep her out there. It's liking that physical attack. And well, it's charging our overdrive pretty quickly as well, to be fair. Now, let's see what's going to happen with Oblivion. I didn't like prep an Aeon Shield here. I want to see, like, I can't cast Haste on myself. But can I just cast Haste on her? Probably yes. I guess Auto Life kind of ends up... Can you dispel Auto Life? I mean, the fact that Dark Anima has Auto Life won't be relevant until the end. So, it's not a huge deal. But let's see what kind of damage we're dealing with here. This is a really interesting fight. I have a feeling this is going to be enormous. Well, Dark Anima is power broken right now. Let's see, despite the power break damage. 1,300. Wait, it's... Ah, I see. Okay. Right. Oblivion leaves you with 1 HP. 0 MP. Fine. It's not as bad as I thought. I'm thinking, where's the Mega Graviton type move? Is there going to be one used? I think, again, getting these guys up like 1 tick of agility has probably been helpful too. I know he said that Zombie's very effective so far, but I haven't messed with it just yet. Let's bring in Yuna with a reflex here. I want to see if I can start to really consistently dodge those standard attacks. But I assume obviously the reflex is going to apply to Anima as well. But I think the early work is going to be done by evading counter here. So let's do a magic break. Ah, we can't do a magic break. So we're not going to armor break. Let's just inflict that zombie status and see what happens. Fire up, yeah. Yeah, this is not great. So, like, for example, this reflected, but I wonder if you have a zombie proof and you try to, hold on, let's test that. Yeah, so it bypasses what your armor has as well. So it seems to me it's almost like a no customized fight. Like, it doesn't matter what you have on your armor. But the spell did get reflected, right? Like, we saw the Holy Reflect. So that's the bit I'm struggling with a little bit. I think maybe as it pertains to statuses, armors are ineffective. But for certain things it can. So that's I'm a little bit confused about that. That's a part of the fight I need to kind of figure out here. Let's see if it also means you can't cure yourself. Like, if you're going to cure zombie, you need to do it through Anima. So I'm going to give up this attempt here, because we're still just... This is one that's going to just take a lot of messing around with to really understand how this is working. Yeah, so you can see that healing yourself, anything that you do, you kind of have to do it through Anima. But that's the reason why the reflect thing's a little confusing for me. I swear that holy spell got reflected. So reflect is, because it's a, I guess maybe because it's a mirroring move of its own, it kind of mirrors the mirror. I don't know. That's strange. But you could see, for example, she clearly didn't have auto haste. That's why I was a bit confused, because like, the auto haste didn't work. Honestly, maybe again, this one is not the worst, because if I don't attack Dark Anima with elementals, then does it really matter? I don't think it does. So we can do that. And we can bring in Yuna. So I think maybe I'll start with a little bit of a similar type of strategy to what I did against Dark Bahamut, honestly. Yeah, it should be able to dodge most of the magic here. And well, she'd have a plus 40 on her own spells. So 2.56 million, but I can use Demi for literally absolute max damage every time. So I feel like that could be very useful. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to kind of experimenting more with this. Hold on, did I customize anything? Probably not, but just to be safe, I'm just going to put another one in. We might be here for quite some time, and because I've always kind of just been that type of experimental type fighter. Like, we chat with Karifean about this kind of stuff a lot. We have kind of, I think, very different approaches to how we do fights. And I think that's really cool. I think Karifean's much more of a... Maybe that's like the modder... Like the modding has made him more like that. Or it's just further enhanced the fact that he was already like that. Whatever it might be, I don't know. But I think he's much more of a... He tries to kind of pre-plan things a lot more than I do. I'm kind of just more of a... Just rush in and just see what happens. And then just kind of figure it out afterwards. And I think that causes me to kind of die a lot more. Or to kind of do stupid things a lot more. But that's just how I learn. I think I'm much more of a just learn by doing and experience kind of guy. And well, you've seen I've made it this far in the mod, so clearly it works as well, but it's maybe a bit of a different way than some people do it. But that's all part of the fun. So, I'm going to start using Reflex early here. And... I think just in the name of... Let's just try and get ourselves into SOS here. It's only going to work for Yuna. I think Riku's the one that has the highest chance of getting hit here. I think it means if you have evade encounter, you kind of always dodge the spell. So we're going to start with Power Break. I think for now, at least, I'm happy with that. Last time it did open up with a physical. Okay, this time it's Holy. So I do think there's RNG in which one is used. And she's not going to survive Holy, I'm pretty sure. Even Lulu. 9,300, that's pretty heavy. But the overdrive is going up fast. So that's good. Holy again. Okay. Holy, holy. Yeah, it's definitely painful. But already full overdrive for Yuna. So for now, we're just going to keep it simple. Just start working some damage in here. I think for now, I kind of just want to see if I can evade some of these hits. Wow, 3 holies in a row. That's a bit. Yeah, everyone's been killed at this stage from Holy. Right, let's Mega Phoenix. No sign of a Mega Graviton. I guess because of the whole status situation that we have, maybe he's just omitted Mega Graviton. Unsure at this point, but let's keep going. I have to imagine that Dark Anima is probably clever enough that if you put Reflect on Dark Anima itself, it's probably going to bounce the spells off. So we'll see. So far, what we haven't seen is like an area of effect where it's done like a, you know, Hector, Thundaga, or the biggest kind of AoE is the physical attack that does potentially hit everyone. So 3 holies and a Fire-Aga. Ah, there you go. Just as I said it. Just as I said it. Is Riku quick enough here? She does have quick pockets. Yeah, so I think there's definitely some RNG about whether it uses a physical attack or not. That's how it feels right now. But maybe there's a bit more to it. Yeah, so also, this doesn't work. So if you want to have kind of SOS nulls, you need to cast them onto Anima first. Basically, my whole thing was I'm probably not going to use elemental magic to attack her, so if I have the 4 SOS nulls, it's not that big a deal. So let's find out what happens if you reflect Anima. I'm sure she's smart enough to deal with that. It's a very obvious thing. Let's see. Yeah. So that's unsurprising. But Riku's auto-reflect worked. I'm pretty sure I saw that work. But does that mean that now that it's reflected, can I bounce it off? They're probably still going to miss. Yeah, okay. Fine. Get those last Emmys in before my MP is taken away. Haven't seen a single physical attack yet, by the way. Finally, one came in. But it does seem to me like evade encounter works, which is very nice. Let's throw in... Let's see if there's a special counter to overdrives. Why did the 8th one not happen, man? I've done as many as 9, it's just quite inconsistent. Doing the same thing every time, it feels like it at least, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But obviously this is massive damage. And well, it's kind of weird that I'm just like, okay, Oblivion, I can survive it. But that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magic spells. And then a physical attack. Okay. So keeping Waka out just to make sure I always survive that physical might already be a good idea. And the power break also did help. It kept Lulu alive. So... I mean, it's not looking that bad so far. Like, I've almost done half of its HP. And this is like literally, I'm not even trying in terms of, like, these are just kind of data collection, experimental attempts. So in that sense, I'm kind of a little bit surprised. So let's do quick pockets here. Bring back Yuna. I'm gonna do this. It means that basically, yeah, I needed to do that myself. Yeah, I need to do it myself. Fine. Yeah, those are the kind of tricks I need to learn. I think in general I'm not going to reflect it because it's not working too great. But it feels like I've never had a situation where all three of my characters have been hit from that. It's a little weird. I don't know if it's just been RNG, but it feels like someone always kind of miraculously dodges it almost. Yeah, Auron's not quite quick enough with that. Let's bring in Waka. At least if it's another physical attack, he'll be able to survive. So I still have no plans to use this actual attempt. That's why I'm tossing all of these Mega Phoenixes and stuff. So, physical... Okay, this time it hit itself. That's interesting. Yeah, so I think other than the reflect mechanics, I'm a bit confused by that still. Like the Holy it bounced, maybe it's just one of those, the Holy, it is kind of quote-unquote smart enough to bounce it off itself, but the elemental attacks it's not. Unclear at the moment. I mean, so far so good, right? Can't complain too much. Now, this is one of those where now, if I try to protect myself, this should mean that I survive the physical attack, even if it hits. So we're really, again, we're going magic here, and that's why we're not worried about kind of being power broken ourselves and that kind of thing, or Anima having protected. It doesn't bother us too much. Can we double Anima's HP, and then Demi does more damage, and then we also double our own HP at the same time? Damn it. That would have been really fun. Oh man, I want to double the boss's HP. Why don't you let me do that? Lame. That is lame. That would have been so funny. Just trying to see if there's any interesting tricks I can pull here. I mean, I can cast a Tetra Elemental, but because she has break damage limit, it'll probably heal it all the way back up to max HP, which I kind of don't want. At this stage, let's start tracking HP a little here. I need to scan. I need to bounce it off myself, right? I'm kind of surprised I remembered that. So many times I've bounced the reflect off the enemy. There you go. So we're already halfway here. Let's just do Osmos. It's reflect. See, immediately afterwards I forgot. That's fine. Physical attack comes in. Yeah, that's looking way better. It feels like one person it misses by default anyway. It's like Kimari dodged it and Lulu got hit, so like there's something clearly kind of up with that, but it's fine. Let's try this again. Yeah, that's better. So until the next... Oh, nice. Until the next Oblivion, we have a chance here. I think the thing is, if somehow I am to continue and win this fight, then I kind of need to do it again because I've just been really cavalier with all of my items here. So I think what I'm going to do... I haven't even used zombie on it, honestly. So I'm going to do this. And I think we start going on the attack here. I think maybe we can. So I think first, let me go back to half MP cost. I think that I don't need the boost anymore. And now we're going to start to kick ass with Demi once more. So thanks to Power Break and putting Protect on ourselves, I think we're pretty well protected at the moment from most of what it can do. I'm going to copycat that. $822,000. Okay. I think for this turn, to keep ourselves safe from the elemental, well, I think Holy still probably kills us anyway. Well, Yuna actually survives us, I think. Oh, just too much. Damn it. Okay. That's bad timing. I guess if she's dead already, she doesn't lose her MP. Which is something. So maybe we just keep her dead. So let's dispel now, because we've kind of given her a few too many statuses. Basically, I'm trying to see if I can get Power Break back on. But since he's got Evade and Counter, I think we just kind of live with that. Just curious to see how much damage we get here. Ah, shit, went too quick. I'm not used to using that one still. 29k. Fair enough. Can we speed through this? Yeah. It is a great attack, iconic and all that, but the animation is so damn long. Okay, thank you. So this could be a game over. Yeah, I think it's probably a game over. Yeah, there you go. Okay. But I mean, already we got it down to like 800,000 HP on like a screw around attempt 2. So it seems to me like it's definitely manageable. Obviously, we've been relying so heavily on like our kind of buffs and our status and that kind of thing. But I think as long as we are careful and fight without them to a large extent, I think we're good. So the strategy that I started to build by kind of giving it Power Break, using some Reflex, using Protect on ourselves, I feel like that stuff was kind of working quite well. I guess in that sense it's kind of a weird fight because I don't really need to worry about putting buffs on people, as in like if they're not on the front line, it's not a problem because they're just going to come in and automatically have the status anyway. So I can kind of start the fight immediately with, say, Power Break or Protect or something, and then I think I'd already be fine. So I can swap in Yuna and immediately Protect, and even if it uses a physical attack, then we kind of survive anyway. So let's have a look here. From here, I think we can say that we're really trying to properly win here without using like a huge amount of resources and blah blah. missed everybody, that's a surprise. Yeah, the counter-attack damage is definitely nice. Now, we're going to power break too. Yeah, we're taking a little damage, but it's okay. Honestly, I don't see why we don't just get going here. I'm going to magic break next. And I believe with the magic break, everyone should survive. So magic break, power break, and protect, I think already puts us in a good position. Okay. Let's try it. It's good that we can make these hits as well. Obviously, it would have been much worse if we couldn't. Holy's the one kind of weakness we have here. I think Lulu still won't make it out of this. If she's at full HP, she will though, so that's fine. Waka, I'm going to temporarily... Oh, should I keep him? No. What I want is Alchemy to kick in, hopefully. Now we need to keep Riku alive, because she's just our best option to get rid of like nasty statuses and stuff. Okay. I'm going to use one Albed potion here. Actually, I need to use it on Dark Anima. In case it's a physical attack, I'm keeping Waka out here. His HP is still pretty good. So we're going to get rid of poison here. So, other than Holy, are we safe now? Of course it's Riku. I don't know if there's some kind of, you know, smartness going on there where it kind of knows that it can't kill anyone with a physical attack or anything else. And so it's just using Holy, or if that's just, again, just RNG. We'll see. I do need to keep Riku alive though, as long as I can. I think I do want to dabble in using Shell again. Because Shell, I think, really it basically stops us from being killed by almost anything that it can do, weirdly enough. So let's see Holy now. Yeah. That's way better. So let's swap in some characters that we're not going to be too worried about if they lose their NP. Unfortunately, I think that means Kimari. Let's get the scan in, so we have it. That. Okay. And then I think Tidus, honestly, is not that important in terms of his MP for this fight. Because of his weapon, I think he's still, he could prove useful still, potentially, but we'll have to see. Yeah, the Power Break plus Protect combination, obviously, despite the fact that I have two elements here that's really like multiplying the damage, it's obviously not going to make an incredible difference here. Those are essentially free hits, so we'll take them. And then we need to kind of bring Riku back and then give her maximum HP. To make sure we're surviving stuff again. So bring in Ludo. Double cast. Get back on that. Yeah, even with Shell, you can see it's doing big damage. So we're still fine. I think I'll use the Phoenix down. It's not going to be enough. Oh, it is. Okay, good. Yeah, that's not the greatest heal of all time. I think let's just try and make sure we survive again here. Let's just see if it's enough. Okay. What we haven't seen is Pain either, and Pain's such an iconic move that I'm missing it. I don't know if he feels it's too cheap for this type of fight with everything else that he's set up and whatever, but I don't know, man. It's pain. Like, it's Dark Anima. You need to see pain. I love the concept so far. It's genius. But I am missing some of, like, the OG Anima moves. I don't know if there's a specific condition for her to use pain or something else. Maybe we're still going to see it. I don't know. But for now, at least, I'm a bit surprised. For now, just toss another Albed potion just to stay healed. Riku got hit this time, that's fine. So this time we're going to have to Osmos. It's our first one. 1.6 million left, not bad. I think Yuna might have to play a bit more of a healing role in this one. But it's just obviously not a lot of healing at all. It's not enough, in fact. Let's see. I don't mind the idea of swapping Waka in for these ones. Just if it's another physical attack, he's guaranteed to survive and then do a little extra damage on top. She double casts, she can't get back out of there. And she'll lose her MP. As such, let's swap in these guys. Still kind of worried about using things like Cheer. I do feel like Anima could definitely copy those two. I mean, it's obviously the concept of the fight, so... yeah. I think we've got one more turn to play with here before the overdrive, so I'm just going to get a bit of free healing in. She has an alchemy, so I'm just going to go for this. Okay, does Prey get me in? It doesn't, that's a surprise. Wow, I really thought I'd get the turn there. Fine. Let's, still going to keep Waka out here. If Kimari gets killed, it's not the end of the world here. Let's see if Waka survives. Very low magic defense. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, obviously was hoping that the shell and the magic break would protect me. And protect me it did. So Titus comes in now. I think we've got nothing to lose at this stage. We just attack anyway. One more Prey, just a little more HP for Riku. Okay. Now the third character, who do we sacrifice here? I think it's gotta be Auron. Power Break, Magic Break. I think there's just nothing I wanna inflict here for now. Like, just threaten everybody. Everyone kind of freezes. I don't know. So I think, like, for now at least, I don't really want to do anything. I'm just gonna just chill. Okay, so this is kind of my, like, Oblivion squad. These guys are taking the Oblivion for me. Since, for now at least, it seems like it can't kill me. I'm really curious to see if we're gonna see Pain or not. Like, it just feels so weird to not have Pain. There's always some pain involved when fighting Dark Anima. Right, let's keep working it. The damage output's really going to slow once the demis stop doing big damage. But then we'll maybe revise our strategy, but I guess you have to kind of stay patient when that starts to happen. Like, you can't... If you start to take, like, the debuffs off and that kind of thing, that's when you really, I think, run the risk of having very dangerous things happen. We're going to have some overdrives by then too, hopefully. So maybe, like, the final bit to get over the line, we're going to have to use overdrives. So Yuna's back. I think for her I'm just gonna do this. It's not a bad prey, honestly. We should survive this. Yeah, that's a good job. Now, at this stage I'm trying to think of how to heal in like a relatively cheap way. I've been using some praise. Obviously I don't want to dabble with regen. There's like zombie plus regen type strats, but I think that's a bit dangerous to manage for me. I'd need to start having like eater armors and that kind of thing. Well, weapons, but I think I don't want to dabble in that for now. It's definitely an idea, but I feel like it's kind of not needed right now, especially. Prey doesn't quite get me in. Obviously I could just toss an Albed potion every time one of these spells comes in, but I kind of don't want to do that. They cost quite a lot of money, but I think for now I will. It's just, it kind of out heals the damage from the magic, so I think next time it comes in I won't need to do it. So I think while I can, let's just keep going here. I think I do potentially want to get my magic booster. Sorry, double overdrive. Right, Riku should survive this. Oof, it was tight, but she survived. The last turn was double cast Demi and then I swapped weapon. Does she then copy the double cast Demi or does she swap weapon? As in like kind of do a nothing move? Nah. It's not a sequence I remember too well. At least now we know. So for now at least things are looking pretty chill. Like we're doing quite well here. But would it be good enough? And is something going to fundamentally shift in this fight? I think I'm not happy with Riku's HP. If another holy comes in and hits her, she'll die. But I feel like the chance of 2 holies in a row being used and both of them hitting Riku, that's a low percentage play. Like yes, I could toss her an X potion here or something, but I think I can get away with it. Yeah, still piling on the damage here. And Yuna should have an overdrive after this as well. Yeah, okay. Nice. So we got the overdrive. We copycat again. And I think this time I might summon. Maybe Pain is used against summons. As like a banish move. Let's, in any case, bring in Titus. Just over 1 million left. He is power broken, so I think he's not going to do a huge amount, and the elemental strikes on the weapon are not going to make a difference. The damage output. I have been learning. Honestly, this one will do more work for him at this stage. Thanks to the damage multiplier. Now, I guess for her, we just keep going anyway because she's basically out of MP, so it doesn't matter. But this worked out fairly well. In that sense, Riku's the only one that's even going to suffer here, really. But I think let's find out what happens if you try an Aeon Shield. I think the worst consequence would be using Pain on the Aeon, then these 3 have all of their MP drained. Obviously, I don't want Yuna to lose all of her MP. So in that sense, maybe not the best idea. I think let's just do it like this for now. Oh, Good crit. And this time it's the armor that has the break damage limit, so that's a really nice kind of option there. Okay. Let's see. I assume Riku's overdrives have got to bypass things here, so maybe I'll do a Mega Elixir mix with Riku. So I'm just going to double check how to do that. These type of mixes I just use so rarely that I don't want to screw it up, and I want to use them in the most efficient way possible. Yeah, so you could literally do it with a very low level thing here, so something like an echo screen and a map. That was the one I used last time, I think. Alright, I need to remember to get some more maps, honestly, before the fight's ahead. Being able to mix something that restores like that cheaply, I think it's pretty nice. Right, we're back in business again, and we're looking good here. Let's do another double cast. And then I think I'm going to start to get into overdrive range. See how we go. Yeah, still do, even with Shell, it's still doing great damage. Just to be safe here. In case Holy comes in, that was the idea. Oh boy, is this going to be enough? Her magic defense is better than Riku's. Yeah, we're good. So that Cura there was pretty clutch. I would have died if I didn't use it. So that was kind of nice. Honestly, since Tidus has maximum HP, it's not the worst idea to just go in here, maybe. 831,000. Yeah, but without the crit, it's only 8,000 damage, which I don't think is that great. It would save us having to heal. And save that for another turn. Just go. 1,200. I feel like there's just some kind of sting in the tail. Like there's something, I don't know, like that I'm kind of missing almost. That's going to happen. That's going to be like, what the hell just happened? I think it's one of these where even if you didn't use Demi, let's just take a look at some double cast elemental here, because obviously I'm wondering, like, let's just say like Dark Bahamut, Karifean made Dark Anima immune to gravity damage. I mean, first of all, he's given Dark Anima 3 times as much HP as Dark Bahamut anyway, so that's one thing. But a second thing, I think you can probably still get some good damage in with this. Yeah, okay. It's still far lower. So yeah, again, you've got to ask the question, like, should Dark Anima also be immune to gravity damage? Because obviously you can just really pile on, like even at this late stage of the fight, you can still do like 30,000 a hit with Demi compared to just like 10k. So clearly he's shown that he can do it. I mean, Dark Bahamut wasn't having any of the gravity shenanigans. But as I say, there might still be a bit of a sting in the tail in this one. Like, this might be something we've overlooked that's going to cause us to fail near the end. Or, like, what should be the killing blow is going to end up not killing Dark Anima, or something funky is going to happen. I'm not quite sure yet, but could definitely be the case. Now, here things are also a little bit dangerous. You kind of have to make sure you keep healing. I think Kuraga does about 2,000 with the magic booster. So if the Holy comes in on Riku or Yuna, we'll die. I'm kind of curious what, like, Delay Buster would do here. Because obviously Tidus would get delayed too, but would it delay everybody? Or just the person? I think it's got to delay everyone, because that's kind of the point, right? Alright, let's just see here. Alright, we're good. Yeah, I think Tidus would have probably died from Holy Still there. So this is the stage of the fight where damage is going to start to slow down a bit, and we're going to find ourselves in a bit more of a risky position. And again, I don't want to start spamming like mega potions and stuff, so got to be careful. I don't know how much a drain does. Ooh, yeah, it's not great. That is not great. Let's see. I think Lulu kind of survives almost anything here. I am going to use an X potion. Hasn't used a physical attack in ages, I feel. I think there's a criteria for it using a physical attack. I think it's not as RNG as I think it is. Magic defense, so solid. So good. So let's try and get some more damage in here. I think Kimari having an overdrive could be quite nice here. Just considering if again it's worth just leaving Lulu out here, just get the extra damage in first. Because again, she's just not going to have much MP left by the end of this whole thing. I think while I've got her here, let's just do it. And maybe I'll swap Tidus out and bring in an Aeon. Because again, the worst that could happen is that they get hit with pain and then everybody loses their MP afterwards. Which is not like the worst thing ever. Just wait. So I think I've got to try summoning an Aeon here. I need to see what's going to happen. I gotta know. Like this is an unnecessary risk at this point, but I kind of just want to know. Like, again, I'm a bit ahead of the curve. I thought this one, especially seeing those mechanics, I thought I'd be here for hours and hours, kind of struggling to find a way through. For now, at least, we're not that far away. I mean, 627,000, and we've got at least some overdrives to work with. So I can entrust with Tidus, for example, so I can give Lulu a second overdrive. So there's definitely things I can do to try and get, like, pump out that last bit of damage. It takes a 1.5 from Elemental, so I think I'd like to try a Shiva Diamond Dust kind of thing. Not double, 1.5. I mean, I wonder if this is, again, I kind of just out of curiosity here. So no pain on the Aeon. So my thinking here was that, again, Shiva also won't die from Oblivion, so at least I'll get a little bit of extra damage first, but I kind of forgot I don't have, like, Blizzaga on her. But I was kind of expecting more damage, because Shiva tends to be, like, she has a good base magic stat. So I thought maybe she could do, like, some serious damage at this stage. Even with a Blizzara on a 1.5x, but not the case. Down to... Oh, okay. For a second I was like, down to 40, what's going on? But I'm curious, like that sting in the tail that I was waiting for still hasn't happened yet. But we still have a bit of work to do. Let's just get that Diamond Dust in. Yeah, okay. So an Aeon hitting for maximum damage here. Damn. Okay. So I can definitely start to try and work towards another overdrive for Yuna. So what I can also start to do is potentially, I guess, start healing with some of this stuff. They're going to have shell, but I would imagine like the power involved is probably still better. Yeah, he doesn't have any of those eater things yet. Okay. I'm going to probably try and keep Waka in a little more at this stage because of his evading counter. I need to pay attention to the physical moves. I feel like they're not happening as much at all anymore. I'd really rather not use a Mega Potion here. So this is the stage of the fight where things slow down a bit, because I think Demi's going to do increasingly little damage. I think it still does good damage, I can still definitely use it, but it's going to be more so the healing at this stage. So I'm just going to keep taking consistently the big damage. Either that, or I start letting characters die and start using Phoenix Downs instead of MP to heal. So I play it differently. I think bringing Lulu in right now is a bit too dangerous. I don't want two characters to die at once. I think that's kind of pushing the boat and making things too dangerous for yourself. But let's just try this and see if we survive. Okay. Yeah. That worked out not too bad. So Lulu back in. I think this time I am going to start to use these overdrives again. I'm sure she could probably charge up another one. Just about got 6. As you can see, still huge damage here. But the output's definitely slowing. Like that last kind of 150, 200k, I think we're really going to start to limp over the line. And that's where it could definitely start to get very interesting. So here, I think I want to use another Albed potion. It won't save Riku if she gets hit by a Holy, but I think they're all kind of too low HP to just let them start dying here. This isn't too bad. Another overdrive for Riku, that's nice. Honestly, I think I'm going to do another Mega Elixir with Riku. That's been working well for us. Maybe not the antidote. Echo screen. And another map. All those reflexes still weren't enough. I was hoping it would be. Let's just try and keep her in the game. Yeah, we're good. Yes, that's more like it. Alright, back to business. We're getting towards the end of Demi's effectiveness here. I mean, it's obviously done a huge amount for us, but soon the elementals are going to start to overpower. How much we got left? 319,000. Okay. I think let's just chill for a second. Still got good HP. Another physical attack. There you go. Looking good. Let's do this. Now, we have to make a choice. We have to, I think, bring in these guys again. Let's just do this anyway. We don't have an Aeon to summon this time. So, Auron 2. Obviously, it's not going to help their overdrives this time unless I manage to meaningfully heal. I think item will do. As in a rank 2 move. Yeah, I'm saving his overdrive so that we can entrust. I'm probably going to do like a Firaga Fury or something and then entrust and then do it again. But I'm going to take the shell off first. Basically, as soon as I put Dispel on, it's like I could lose the entire fight if I put one foot wrong. Like that's the stage where it gets incredibly dangerous. So I kind of want to... I would rather do it without, but it would probably help me like get over the line. So we'll see how I'm going to play this. Just want to get down to within striking distance. I don't know what exactly that striking distance is, but let's go back. So let's move back to this now so we're seeing what kind of damage we're starting to do again. It was like 10k, right? Yeah, like without shell. It's not the greatest damage of all time. Probably still worth a copycat. We've definitely got full MP here, so let's use it. Just thinking, as soon as we take shell off, basically Holy will kill us. Guaranteed. So, do I want to live with that? 292,000. This is where kind of the fight really begins in that sense. I wouldn't call it a sting in the tail or anything, but this is where you kind of have to start thinking about how to get over the line while using relatively minimal resources. So I think this is where overdrives really start to come into play to really push you further. Okay, so whenever I get into these kind of times, I have to refer back to a list that I have now of things that affect overdrive damage output and things that don't, because this is one of those elements that up until now I kind of had a general understanding of it, but a lot of it I did have wrong, but it never really mattered enough, I think, in the stuff that I've done up until now to really make a difference. But in this mod in particular, I've been paying a lot more attention to it. So for a reminder for anyone who's forgotten or doesn't know the full kind of extent at this point, things that affect overdrive damage output would be having break damage limit, stacking cheer and focus, the target having armor or mental break, and depending on the overdrive, elemental affinity. So if you do use Firaga Fury, then yes, it will do the right damage. Now, I think the more important part, most of that stuff is obvious, but it's always the stuff that doesn't affect the damage output that I think trips a lot of players up, myself included. So the list here is strength/magic plus on gear. So if you have a magic plus 30%, it's not going to do 30% more damage when you do a fury. Magic booster is much the same. Magic booster will not do more damage on the overdrive, but also the target having shell or protect does not reduce the damage. So let's say if Lulu uses a Blizzaga Fury on Dark Anima, the shell's not going to reduce the damage. Power/magic break on the user also doesn't reduce the output. So basically all of this stuff starts to mean that Lulu's Fury can still do a nice job here, because she's not going to be affected by magic break, and Dark Anima is not going to be protected by shell for the overdrive. Now if I've got this wrong, Karifean, please tell me, but this is literally your list that you sent me that I've literally pinned in my Discord and I refer back to when I need to remember this stuff, because stuff like the whole like armor and mental break on the target working, but power and magic break on the user not working, like that's quite a big benefit to the player, which I find quite interesting. So yeah. And the final thing, of course, as I mentioned a few times at this stage, is elemental strikes on gear. So that also doesn't affect things. So what that means is that we can definitely get some nice damage in. I'm just thinking, is it worth just giving Lulu the entrust now, or do we kind of let her build towards one more overdrive and then go from there? Not really sure. Which one do we have? We have the Nimbus Rod. I'm going to keep Yuna around until she gets that full overdrive. I don't know if it's worth going the double cast route at this stage. I think it's a bit expensive, MP-wise, like 64 MP. But I do want her to build more overdrive, so we'll see. And I don't think Riku's going to get another Megalix anytime soon. Maybe she will, but I'm sure. Kimari's close to an overdrive too. Kimari Nova to finish the deal. I think Waka did pretty nice damage, even though I only got 2 out of 3 of those elements of like the power-up thing. So maybe him staying out is not the worst idea either. He's relatively close to an overdrive. But Yuna definitely would do more damage with an overdrive, so I'm not sure. Let's just do this for now. 5k is 5k. Evading counter will get us a free 5k more. The only thing is obviously the overdrive gauge is going up very slowly here. I think I do have a mind to just entrust with Tidus at this stage. It's going to take too long, I think, for that overdrive to build by itself. It costs 8 MP, of course it does. Ugh. I always forget that Entrust costs MP. Just going to wait here. Waka takes more damage from the magic, so I'm kind of leaving him out here at the moment. I think he's going to be a bit of an overdrive builder at this stage. But a lot of physical attacks coming in. But at least we counter. And at this stage, I'm really not worried about Oblivion. Yeah, the overdrive is the one move where I can bring in like Tidus and stuff and really just unload some extra damage, but for now at least I can't really do too much. Maybe I need to mix some kind of no MP cost thing. Let's just wait. I think we're going to keep going with Lulu though. Okay. I don't think this is going to push us to overdrive, right? Just to be absolutely safe, let's just wait. Right, there's Holy. Let's see who it is. Yeah, it's the one that takes the least damage from Holy, of course. But it did help the overdrive for sure. That's what we wanted. Now, I think at this stage maybe I'm just better off just using this overdrive, honestly. I am kind of curious how much damage it does. Although the elementals just don't help, so... Well, I do lose a lot of turnage here. I'd love to entrust it, I think. You know what? I think to that end, I'm gonna... This is the wrong time to do it. Basically, I'm trying to think, is there a way I can entrust to Lulu without Lulu losing all of her MP as well? And the answer is no. So I think I'm just going to leave it for now. Like at this stage, we're still generally quite safe, so I think we just keep going. Ah, shit. There's that one mistake. Like, I created this thing in the tail myself here. I think we're still okay. I think we're still okay. But I definitely need to do this. Oh my god. It's such a quirky mechanic that obviously you're just going to forget about shit like that. The fact that you have Poison Strike on your weapon. Good god. I guess maybe that's a way to get over the line. But obviously we're just going to take massive damage from poison, so we need to be incredibly careful. But I think it was doing like 51,000 damage per turn. So if we can handle that, then maybe we can get it to kill itself with poison. That might be interesting. But it's one of those where you are playing a very dangerous game. You poison everybody. That's going to be like a future challenge idea. Final Fantasy X, but everyone is poisoned the entire time. And then we'll see how that works. So let's bring in Riku. She can quick pockets here. She has the MP to do it. So let's just get Auron back up here. Or maybe we don't, because he's just going to poison everybody. But for now, at least, I think as long as we have high HP people around, being poisoned isn't going to like immediately kill us or anything. So I think we'll be all right. So if it is a physical attack, we're going to be poisoned, but I think we'll deal with it. Do we immediately take the poison tick at the same time as everyone else? I don't think so. It didn't happen like that last time. In. She survives Holy. Missed everybody, of course. Alright. Maybe we leave this alone. Because it is an extra 50,000 damage that we can do here. And if need be, we do have this. But I think I might deliberately apply it at the end. So, okay, hold on. First of all, let's just get rid of it for now. Keep working it down. I do feel like it's a good one to put on like now, when it's going to get the next turn. Alright, let's see if I play this correctly. Good crit. Yeah, okay. And 51,000 damage, and another one on top. So that worked pretty well. Now, I can use an antidote again. Or I live with the consequences of not. Do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? It's going to be quite a lot of damage. Basically, because I can't reapply it with Auron right now. I think we play it safe. Just get rid of it. I don't want to kind of overdo it here. But I think we're on the right track. There's lots of people very close to overdrives here. Just want to make sure I grab a little more if I can. We definitely have a few tools to get us over the line at this stage, but it's also just, again, you do one stupid thing and you can ruin your entire thing. So you just have to be really careful. Now, 138,000. I think we could finish this off here, potentially. Let's try that Blitz Ace that we've been curious about, but I think one of the worst things you can do is after an overdrive give it 2 turns back to back. I don't think I want to do that. So I'm still going to use the Blitz Ace, but I'm going to make sure the other characters are not going to let it get all those turns. So we're getting close here. As I say, like the final kind of 10%-15% of his HP has definitely been more difficult. It's been a bit more about management. Fascinating fight, I have to say. Yeah, that's some nice damage. Okay. Gonna learn my lesson here. Do that. We within range? Wow. We are literally just outside the range. I think you can summon and then do kind of as Shiva did, but for now let's just do this. Alright, here we go. Hopefully the last Oblivion we have to face. I think overall still mixed emotions about this one, because like I have so much love for what he's done with the status mirror. It's such a cool idea, and it completely obviously changes the way you think about the fight and the types of mistakes you can make and things that can go wrong, etc. But I'm also like it just doesn't feel as much like Dark Anima as it used to, because like so many of the other fights they feel like the same boss but just with like a different flavor and just like more added to it and that kind of thing. But Dark Anima, when I don't see Pain, I don't see Mega Graviton, I think for me it's because I fought Dark Anima so many times that I just have this thing of I'm just so used to what Dark Anima's like that maybe that kind of affects me a bit more than it affects some other people, potentially. But I don't know, I think at least Pain I would have loved to have seen. Still, it just kind of feels wrong without Pain. I don't know. Just me. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so we're gonna... Does Yuna have full HP? Like close to it? Yeah, she does. So, we are gonna do a bit more of this. And then I think we should be able to finish it off with another Aeon Overdrive, yeah. 89,000. Let's do it. So Shiva was able to do the maximum. I'm hoping that Ixion will be the same. Let's go. And then we can chalk up Dark Anima as another win and get one step closer to Penance. But we have to have this one basically do max damage first. Wasn't max damage, but 96,000. Still got the job done. And there is no like crazy wacky thing happening when you bring the HP down to 0. Anima appears to really die. And as such, it's another win in the books. Woo! Let's go. And everyone contributed to the fight naturally as well and stayed alive, which is nice. Always a little bonus when that happens. Ooh. Okay. Some interesting things there. Let's see what Sir Oren has here. Ooh. I love that the music continues. That's really nice. Okay, my friends, so that's the end of the first fight against Dark Anima. And basically, because I continued from this session, I ended things more quickly than I thought I would. And so I went straight into the Dark Maga Scissors. I took whatever equipment I got from this fight, the sphere levels, whatever resources I had left. And so what's going to happen is next week you're going to see another Dark Anima fight. You're going to see it as it was intended and how it should have been. But in terms of the overall run, what we're going to do is we're going to continue things from the end of this particular fight and onto Dark Maga Sisters. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. But next week we will have some more Dark Anima and you'll get to see the fight the way that it should have been the first time round. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it either way, and I will see you next week. Take care.